Without further ado, let me introduce someone you've already met, actually. She spoke this morning, Himadri Garg. She's the photographer and co-founder of Gumo Firo Sisters. And she told a story about how she travels around with her sister around India and encourage other women to Himadri. Second is Seema Viswanathan. Where is she? She's the editor-in-chief, journalist for over 20 years. She's representing herinspirasi.com. Currently editor-in-chief of magazines, I'm sure you know, Clio Malaysia and Shape. And she's traveled the world as a journalist. And besides shopping, she enjoys trying new foods, exploring historical sites, and seeing a country's natural wonders. And she confesses to having a soft spot for museum shops. Me too. And last but far from being least is Gabrielle Tan, who's the director of marketing for Gardens Mall, which if you still don't know is the mall out there. Really nice one. Gabby loves traveling and likes to think of herself as an amateur photographer. We have lots of photographers here. And she has a travel bucket list that is slowly but surely being ticked off. And always travel from a young age. But she does also have a very young child, 6 months old, so embarking on the new journey of motherhood. And I'm sure that will bring new perspectives to this whole issue. So what we're supposed to be talking about is balancing life, career, and travel today. But I'm just going to rework it a bit because it is the last one and we want to keep it casual and conversational. And I think after 3 days, we're all convinced that we all need to travel. If we haven't convinced you, then I don't know, we failed terribly at this whole Zafigo X. But I think, say we all agree that travel is a good thing, and we are not having to answer to mothers or whoever, we can go. The issue for many of us who are busy working, busy being mothers, busy being all sorts of things, activists or whatever, is actually finding the time to travel. How in 1 year do we carve out that time? I mean, how do we decide on that time? Himadri, I know travel is part of your job, right? And you do it full time. It's done as a business almost, yeah.
So my sister is into full time, but I recently took some 2-3 months break, and now I'm helping her out. But prior to that, I was working with full time in a digital media agency. So it was like a full, good, stressful job.
And so you're doing this travel kind of travel business with your sister.
Yeah.
You're encouraging people to travel, but you had a job that possibly restricted you also. I mean, don't you have to ask?
Yes.
So, okay, what's the excuse that you give to your boss, or how do you get time off?
So, at the start of the year, I used to look for what are the extended weekends are, and I know I have to plan with my family. I have to plan with my sister. I have to do a road trip every year, which is like a 10-day road trip, which I always do. And then I have to do I need some me time, so I need to do some solo traveling as well. And I need to do some trekking. So I find all these.
How do you fit all that in 1 year? There are only 365 days.
Yes.
And everything is a have to. I mean, you're saying I have to.
And the stress point was, because working in a digital agency, you have multiple clients to work on. Some are active during the festive season, some are active during the non-festive season. So you need to balance that out as well. So the first thing that I used to look for what are the extended weekends, pull it out, and then block it for, in advance, like 6 months before my holidays, I used to tell my boss, like, okay, I'm going to take these holidays. Please ensure nobody else is taking holiday. Otherwise, your campaign gonna go for a toss. So, so
So you're a big planner.
so
You
planning in
plan.
terms of that I need holidays, but I used to look for the destination at the later stage,
Oh,
but
so you just block first.
block first. Yeah, that's
And then
my
decide where. Oh,
yes.
okay. Oh, that's interesting. Seema, are you a planner or let's just go sort of person?
Half and half.
Half and half.
Yes.
So when is which half and when
Well,
is the other
it's
half?
easy for me to do the solo travel because it just involves me, right? So most of my solo traveling is done as an extension to work trips.
Ah.
So I just take a few days extra and then I go wherever around there. It's easy also when it's just my husband and I, because there's just the two of us. We don't have kids, so easy. So we can just fix it in the calendar and we'll just go. It's tough when it comes to friends because everybody has their own schedules. Everybody has
Right.
their own yearly lineups and diaries and stuff like that. So then it gets tough when it's to get everyone together, everyone free for a certain number of days. So that's tough. Yeah.
You mean your husband and you are totally in sync? Your calendar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Completely. He can go anytime. Yes.
You can ask my husband about what he's complaining about not me not being in sync for the past 20
quite,
years.
yeah, quite lucky in that sense. Yeah.
Oh, very lucky. So, Gabby, you have now this new life. I mean, everyone knows once you have a child, life totally changes. Your schedule totally changes. Your priorities totally changes. So, how do you carve time out for a holiday? And what's your definition of holiday nowadays? Has it remained the same or has it changed?
I mean, I think it's fairly the same. We just have one more person to take care of. I think I've always been a planner and organizer, so I'm like you, the travel agent. You know, I look at deals. When's the best time to go on a holiday? And I mean, I gave birth in May, and at that time, me and my husband already planned a trip to Bali for our 4th anniversary. And we're like, okay, we probably won't bring the baby, we might, doesn't matter. So, but at the end, we actually decided to bring the baby at 4 months. So I think it's just doing what you do, still go on holidays, but you just have someone else to share it with, which I think it's beautiful in itself. It might be a bit stressful at times, yes, but you know, I feel like I want to share the world with him as well. So I want to try to do that. I don't want just having a baby stop me also from my own travels.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And one thing I do know that, babies probably have more luggage than us.
Yes, yes.
Because you have to bring so much more
And
things.
you take
with
about 2 weeks beforehand to pack everything, or 3 weeks just to make sure you have everything.
And airlines don't give you special allowance for that, yeah. So, yeah, coming back to this, whether you're planning or spontaneous traveler or whatever, what often happens is, and those of us who are not single, have families, that, particularly if you have families like I do, is that I'm the family travel agent. I'm the family tour guide. I'm the family entertainment coordinator. I'm the family food and beverage manager. Everything. For some reason, I mean, okay, I don't know whether I just happened to take it on myself or they just left it to me. But it then becomes like another job, right? You go on holiday and you have this job of doing everything, thinking for everyone, and I find that neat. So do you find yourself, when you travel with other people, I mean, I know you do it as a job also, but maybe with your family, do you find yourself like taking that role, or are you smarter than me and you can delegate?
I think as a woman, we always love to take responsibility on our shoulders. we don't want to, give it to anyone. And staying in a patriarchal society, I've realized that, boys and sons and dads are always look out for like outside work. But the planning is always on woman's shoulder. So, but yeah, I love to do plan. I love to, take them out, then family, even if it's a big group, like at times we do a road trip with 16 people. I've done that. And I have planned end to end for them. But yeah, it's a bigger responsibility. And at times, I keep just, at times I'm frustrated also because, you keep just coordinating within the group and within you making ensuring everyone is happy, which is a difficult task. But yeah,
We just do it,
you
right?
just do it.
Right,
And at the end of the day, we are happy. And like, yeah, today was a good day.
Right, yeah. So Seema, between you...
Seeing
People
others'
happy.
happiness, we find our happiness.
Right, right. But when they're unhappy also, you get
yeah.
So Seema, between you and hubby, do you divide
I'm
out
the one.
responsibility?
No responsibility. Completely.
Even
all
when there's
mine.
to... Just,
Everything.
why? Why are they
Hotel,
like that?
airplane, where we eat, what are the best places to eat, what we should go and see, when we should do what, morning or is this better in the afternoon? Everything is me. I like that control.
You like that control. You would never give it to him.
I would not give it, I would never give it to him, and if I did, nothing would get done. Yes. So
He's not here, right?
we would never leave.
Right, you never
We
get
would never go anywhere. So yeah, even with friends, generally I'm the one who does it. Even
Why?
when it
Even
comes
with your
to-
friends?
Even with our friends. I mean, we discuss a lot. I have to listen.
But you actually go and do the
Yeah, I
booking.
do generally the coordination, and then I send out all these links about all the different hotels, all the different places that we have to go to, that we want to go to, and then they'll say, okay, let's do this or maybe that or things like that. There's a lot more discussion when it involves my friends. There's barely any discussion when it involves my husband.
You mean he's that
Yeah, as long as he's
submissive?
like, but because I don't want him to complain when we are there, so I actually ask him for his opinion, like, would you like to do this, or would you like this kind of a hotel, or whatever. So he does give some input, but everything's me. Yeah. Yes, because even when it comes to the smaller, say, we go for like hiking trips a lot. So I do the route research. I do the route there research, like what time we should go, what time we should start, what the terrain is going to be like, what you should bring, what you should pack, things like that. So generally that's, yeah, I'm like track leader in the group.
And you, Gabby, is that you too?
I play different roles. I think when I'm traveling with my husband, I'm the travel agent. I pick the flights, I pick the hotels. But when it comes to hotels, dates, obviously we have discussion. And then when it comes to, let's say, restaurants or in wherever we go, I tell him to pick it. So I give him that responsibility because I've already done the travel. I've already done all the travel plans. It's all laid out. You just need to pick the F&B. And I'm not. I guess I'm not as. I don't want to say picky. He's not really picky, but he has a. He feels like he needs to eat the local cuisine, everything. So he does the research for that.
And when it comes to food.
Yeah, and then like with friends, I'm also the organizer, because if not, nothing gets done. So I have to push everyone, okay, what's your budget? Where do you want to go? What dates is everyone free? And then when I'm with my family, surprisingly, my dad is the planner.
Oh, great.
He's the organizer. I think that's where I got it from. He'll plan the flights, the accommodation, everything. We're like, okay, I'll just sit back. So different roles for different occasions.
You're lucky. But, I mean, in my case, and I've even found that I remember once I had to go for a course in Boston, and it was a small group of us. There were three or four guys, I think, and two of us women. I was a participant in the course. One was sent by the organization. We were going to Harvard, actually, Harvard Business School. And these are grown adult men. One was a grandfather, and they all turned into babies. Totally. The first day we go to a restaurant, and they wouldn't even choose what to eat. It's amazing. You know, like they left it, you all choose lah. It's like suddenly we became mummies to this. It's unbelievable. And I remember the last day I had managed to find something, go shopping a bit, then come back. I see these three guys by the side of the road, suitcase all ready. I said, wow, you're all ready to go to the airport. Have you called a taxi? No. It's like, if I tell you, you know, it was just really illustrated to me, like, why the hell do we let these people rule the world? I can't even call a taxi, for God's sake, you know? Unbelievable. So, I mean, okay, that's traveling with other people, with family, with friends, and things like that. What about when we want to travel on our own? The other day, Catherine last year was talking about one of the biggest issues for women when we travel is we somehow find it very hard to let go of this sort of guilty feeling that how could we enjoy something without our family, or how could we take time off from work? We really should be working even more. You know, we are never free of this sort of guilt encumbrance. And what Catherine was recommending is that we ought to kill guilt, which since last year we're still thinking about it, Catherine. So do any of you face this sort of, you know, nagging thing, saying, yeah, you should be thinking of other people as well, and taking time off for yourself is not really on. And if you have that, have you managed to at least douse it, or if not, kill it off entirely?
So, like I mentioned, every year I do a trip with my parents and with the entire family. 5 of us go out. And that one year we couldn't do it because I was too busy with my work, and I've already taken few holidays in between, and I've switched my job, so again there was not possible. And deep down I really wanted to go out, but I asked my other family members, is please you guys go out. I know I'm gonna miss it, but at least I will be free of that guilt. You guys are not going because of me. So obviously they didn't go. They didn't go.
They didn't
No.
go. They can't go without you.
Yeah, they say if it's a family, then everyone will go. Otherwise, they'll not go. So I felt really bad that the work is coming in between the whole travel thing. But at times you need to prioritize, and that's one time where I probably put my career ahead of my family, or so yeah, that's a guilt that at times I still feel it. But then I compromise on other. The next year we did two trips in a year, so we compromised there.
Right.
So that's how at times you need to make a judgment call, and you need to prioritize yourself where you taking it ahead.
Right. Seema, you only have your hubby.
Yeah.
So how do you say to him, I want to go off on my own?
I say exactly that.
You say exactly that. And he goes, oh,
And
okay.
he's fine. He's perfectly fine with me, with all my travels and what I want to do. He's not one of these young ladies' mums earlier who's always worried about me. He's not generally. He's the kind of guy who knows I can take care of myself, and as long as I message him and let him know where I am. The guilt comes when I don't do that, when I'm having so much fun I forget to. So that's
Do you need to call in every day to say?
I usually do. For the past 15 years or so, I've done it every single time. But they actually not every single time. There have been the occasional time when I forget to, and that's when I feel guilty. Like not to just check in, just let him know.
But you're checking on him or?
No, I just let him know where I am or what I'm going to be doing today and
Okay.
stuff. So he just wants to sort of, I think it comforts him when he knows where I am and what I'm doing. Like perhaps I have this meeting here, or I'm going to go check out this museum today, and then in the afternoon I'm going to go check out this hike, for example, or whatever. So as long as he knows, he's very comforted by that. But if he doesn't know where I'm supposed to be, he gets worried.
But does he do his own solo trips?
Not really. He's not a big traveler. So that's also why it's, I suppose, quite easy for me, because he doesn't feel the need to travel with me all the time. So he's very comfortable with me. You want to do this stuff, I'm not interested, you go ahead. So when I go like hiking, or when I go on, girl holidays or whatever, he's just perfectly fine with it because he's not interested.
Right.
Yeah, so that makes it a lot easier, I guess. As long as I check in. When I do not check in, there is drama.
Right.
So, yes.
Okay.
Just let him know, okay, this morning at breakfast, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then I should be back by this time, and then after that, maybe I'll go for drinks at night or whatever. As long as I, give him a sort of an itinerary,
Yeah.
he's fine. So I think he needs to sort of picture it.
Right.
Okay, she's fine. Oh, she's doing this. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's how the guilt is
Right.
assuaged.
So
I
Gabby,
think I'm your husband. Yeah, sorry.
So Gabby, is solo holidays a thing of the past, or
I mean,
your own holidays?
Honestly, I've never traveled solo. I've traveled with girlfriends, and that's also, and my husband actually doesn't expect me to write at all.
Doesn't
Yeah,
expect you to.
if I don't check in, he's fine. He doesn't care. He's like, okay, you're having fun. You need to have fun. I think in this case, it's my husband who does all. He's more adventurous in that sense. I mean, just before we got married, he went to Uganda, for like a business trip, and then that's how you get worried. He does all these things.
Yeah.
But as for me, I love traveling, but I like traveling with people. It's just me.
Yeah.
And I enjoy traveling with people, and just the different personalities you see, you get to travel with, your friends, your family. For me, it's fun.
But do you think that still be on? Like if you went without him, now that you have a baby,
Right.
I mean, can
yeah.
you leave him with the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Really?
I would. The thing about having a child now is, the most important thing for me is the support system you have.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky to not only have my husband who's hands-on, I have my parents who are here, and also my sister. So she's got 2 kids of her own. So if, let's say, I'm away, I could just say, can you please just go to our apartment and just check on them, make sure they're alive. Or, they can go over to my parents' place to stay, and because my mom is, she's had 5 children, so she's good with kids. So I know that they're in good hands.
Right.
So if I were to go on a girls' trip or solo travel, I'll be okay. I don't think, guilt probably, but I think I'll be, I know that my son will be in good hands. Yeah.
So manageable guilt,
yeah.
Manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my older daughter was a little girl, and I went off actually on a bit of a course, a publishing course for 2 weeks, and I came back and my mom went, oh, you left her for 2 weeks, It's like, already made me feel like so guilty.
Actually, adding to the guilt thing though, although there's no guilt, say on my husband's side or work side, the guilt comes with the friend holidays. You went with this group of friends and not this group of friends. You went with those 2 and you didn't go with this one. So they're like,
How do
I thought you
you-
said you were busy, but you went on a holiday with them. So that's when the guilt happens.
You have more than one group of friends to
everybody should have different
travel
groups
with?
of friends.
Really?
Yeah.
To travel
I think
with?
different groups of friends for different things, you know, like some, like you have the hiking group and then you have the city holiday and then you have the really laid back spa kind of group, and you
that
see you
makes
have
sense.
different groups of friends for different purposes anyway. Most people
Right,
do, I
right.
believe. So it's when you tell one group, I'm too busy, and you've gone on a holiday with the other group.
But wouldn't you have gone on a holiday that they wouldn't be interested in anyway?
Still, you
Still.
They
chose
still
to
like to
go
know.
on
It's your
say, this
attention.
hiking
They like to
holiday
know. Oh, I
and
know
not on the
that.
spa holiday.
Oh,
at
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'm-
that's generally where the guilt is.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm very careful about who I tell,
So-
who I go on holiday with because of that problem, you
okay.
know. And
I just let everyone know on Facebook like where I am and all.
really,
Actually, so
I find it safer.
I feel that if they I mean if they feel any guilt, that's not my problem. And also I don't feel any sort of envy when I see my friends traveling. So I just go with that. Like, why should they feel envy if I don't feel envy? I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly.
So
That's a good-
yeah.
That's a good attitude. But yeah, there are people like,
There are
"Aiyo,
definitely.
how
There
come
will
you
be
went
some,
with her?
Okay,
And
yeah, okay. So I'll try and make some time for you this time. Or,
I
you
think some
things
people
like
know
that.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have about 18 minutes left of the session. So any questions out there? Anyone? Or just comments and, carving time out, not feeling guilty. Yes. Yes, please.
Hi,
Nadia.
hi. Again, my name is Nadia. So basically, I guess I just want to ask in terms of the younger perspective, because we all heard of the YOLO, you only live once. So we're talking about balancing life, career, and travel, and especially for the young ones, like us, we can be a bit irresponsible when it comes to that, you know.
Yeah.
We don't want to work, we just want to travel, and worse is some cases that people asking parents for money to travel. So I guess I created that kind of trouble a bit to my parents when I decided to just quit my job and do paragliding full time. So is there any advice or opinion on that you can give me, or I just curious about it, I guess?
I think if my daughter told me she was going to do paragliding full time, I would have a heart attack, basically.
I get that also when I told mom, like, I want to ride superbike, and she said, no, girls don't ride bikes. But
Introduce her to Anita, you know. Yeah.
I ride bike now.
But I mean, how do you live if you are paragliding all the time?
That was the question she asked me, but at that
Yeah.
time, I guess I convinced her that I will do freelance design. So that was a side income. So
So you do have something
yeah,
else.
but then she was like very unhappy because I didn't even talk to her about quitting job. I just came to her, Mom, I'm not telling you, I'm just asking your support. I already quit my job.
Those of you who have been here for 3 days, you might have noticed this theme of not telling our parents what we're going to do. And we've all done it. We've all done it somehow. We don't, and we just go off and do it. And our reasons are many. We don't want them to worry lah. We don't want them to stop us lah. And all that. So that seems to be, I think the first day someone was talking something about don't tell mak. Hashtag don't tell mak. Although I think once you have a hashtag, you're telling the whole world.
We try to tone down what we're doing. So
Yes.
so it feels like, you're okay, you can go. But then at the end of it, when you come back, you're like, oh, I actually did this.
Yeah,
They're like,
exactly. So we all grow up, telling all this sort of like, fudging, and telling, sort of
quite
white
lie.
10%
not
of
quite
our
white
travel,
lie.
just 10% of our travel, and then do the
We
90%
just kind
of
of-
it.
cut
I
the
do the
truth
same
of
thing
it.
as well. I don't tell my mother how long or how far or how dangerous the trek is. Oh, it's just a day hike, that's it. And then I come back and I tell her I did like 12 hours or whatever today and stuff like that. So, yeah, just
But I would
lie.
kill my daughter
Just
if
lie.
she did this to me.
I think when you're old, when you're about 30s, you're like, okay, fine. If they know the personality you have, they'll probably go, okay. And if you're with a group of people that they know or they know that you trust, then they themselves are also like, okay, they're in good hands. We will let them go. Like last year, I did Everest Base Camp, and so I went with my husband and 3 other friends, and all of them. One's an ultra marathoner, and the others are. I was the least fit one of the whole group. And then, you go through this, one of the most dangerous airports in the world, Lukla Airport. So you don't tell them that. You just tell them, oh, we're going to fly to an airport, and then we're going to track, and that's it, really. And then you come back, and then you tell them.
And they're not the sort that will Google all this.
No.
They're not the
As long
sort.
as you just check in somehow or other. If there's no internet, then you just...
Actually, when I did my Everest Base Camp this year, I didn't tell my parents. And I just told them, like, I'm just going to I'll be in India. I'll be doing small hike in Manali. And they're like, okay. Are you sure it's a small, are you comfortable? And that was monsoon period that started. And there were heavy rains were happening there. So they're like, are you sure in rains you will hike? Yeah, it's perfectly fine, don't worry. But then as soon as I landed in Kathmandu, it's been like few hours, I realized I should tell my parents, because obviously the phone won't work for 15 days. They will think, where is their daughter is gone. So I called up my dad. So dad is basically, deep down, he's scared, but he's not normally doesn't show his emotions out. And I know mom will just go out and like just come back. So I called up dad and like, dad, I have done this. So just you need to handle it, your wife now.
Oh, you chicken. You didn't tell your mom. You just told your dad to tell your mom.
So he like, okay, wait, I'll just patch him in on the video call. And he added mom on the call, and then he like, your daughter wants to say something to you. I was like, all right. So that's how, within the few hours of being in Kathmandu, I obviously had a guilt feel, because I've never liked to that extent that, I will not be able to in excess for 15 days. And it was a funny moment of all together, but in the end I told them, and they were like, just take care of yourself, try to, keep informing us, and I gave the guide's number and everything. But yeah, they were scared.
Yeah, I'm sure they. I mean, when I was about 25, like I mentioned earlier, I went on this round the world trip. I really don't remember how I told my parents this, but one of my stops was, I kind of assured them, because they knew who I was visiting, all along the way. But one of my stops was New York. And my mom had this real picture of New York as being this incredibly violent place where, everybody's carrying guns, and if you walk down the street, you're going to get shot and all that. And I was like, hey, don't be ridiculous. And then, as it happens, there was a story in our local papers about some Matsale guy being stabbed in KL, So is it that KL so very dangerous? So what's New York, So yeah, sometimes I guess it's about putting things in proportion and perspective, and just sort of reassuring them.
As you said, the YOLO. The YOLO part. I'm not that young, but are you, after paragliding, after you get that, after you're done a few years, are you planning to start working, or?
Yeah.
Well, currently I'm doing paragliding to become a professional athlete.
Okay.
So I'm more competing. Definitely afterward is about being instructor, open a school perhaps, and doing more things around the world. But because sports, like being, to go professional in sports is something not common in Malaysia, right? So parents were really worried, and especially friends. And for me, I've met also people that, how do you do it? You want your life, but they don't understand the balance of life and career for them to do this. So, yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was lucky in the sense that my parents were also like, you're young. Go do what you want to do, and after you're done, then you come back, and then you can start your job, or you can start working. Then after you've after you've got that out of your system, or if you still want to continue, at least you know that, okay, this is what you want to do, this is your life. You know, when you're young, you kind of go from, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, oh, I want to do this. So I think once you come to something that you love and you're passionate about, I think your parents see that. So it's just that, yeah, I think all parents are like, how are you going to earn your money? So I guess you just need to show them that, you know, this is not just something I'm doing for now. You know,
Exactly,
and then
exactly.
yeah, and then they understand it and they see how you love it and they will come to terms with it, I think.
Yeah, I think it's not just from the parents' perspective, it's from friends' perspective. You know, people came to me, to us, talking about how we want a life like yours.
Right.
How do we able to do it? Especially talking to friends. Parents, you can advise, but friends, sometimes they don't listen. Who are you? Your friends only. But they wanted advice from us. So for me, it's like, I do believe that younger people should travel more because it opens up the minds. That's how they get to see the world, that's how they get to see a different perspective in life. And especially, I've met younger people that have not traveled outside of Malaysia, and those that have traveled, it's two completely different people. Same age maybe, but two different completely mindset and maturity level. So for me, YOLO is very good. You only live once. You know, I believe that risk is a price you pay for opportunity. And what I'm asking is, how do you advise, you know, what are your opinions on about balancing this life, career, and travel for younger people?
Anyone wants to take that on? How do you advise?
So basically, for me, travel is a recreation medium. You know,
what medium?
It's a recreational medium. So when I'm burned out at work or I'm too stressed out, I don't know what to do. You know, I need my mind to clear out. So it's where I travel, and for me, I know myself, like if I travel a lot, there will be a travel fatigue. You know, I will probably not enjoy it. So it's very important. If you're traveling, you need to enjoy it. You know, if you are not enjoying it, the whole essence of traveling is gone. I mean, at least for me, and I'm sure as a traveler, a lot of people will agree to that as well. So there's a thin line between, you know, I know everyone wants, YOLO is the new term, but you need to figure your interest, where your interest lies. You think if you can, you know, travel 365 days, good enough, please follow that passion. But for me, it's not. I can't do that.
I think because I've met like friends that do it irresponsibly. You know, I like to travel, but I don't want to be responsible about it. You know, I'm not.
Just to sorry to cut you in, but you know, a lot of time we just get swayed by the school Instagram pics. But that's not the reality, you know. So there've been a lot of research and a lot of articles going in the recent media, and you need to just think through before you you know, take up the entire traveling as a full time. It's brilliant, but you need to look at the other side of it as well. Like, you know, you probably do some co-working, or so you need to balance that out as well. So like right now, we all are trying to balance our career with travel. You have to balance your travel career with something else then.
That's why I told my friends, sometimes get a job at a travel agency that will pay you to travel. Why not? Right.
Or get the job with an airline, actually. And then you definitely.
The thing I believe is that, like, I think I chose a job that enabled me to travel, definitely. My job has taken me places, many places that even if you had the money to pay, you wouldn't be able to get in. Because, you know, as a journalist, they let you into places. And I will take that over a fancy car, a fancy house, and in a nice neighborhood any day. So you have to do what you have to do to pay your bills. Everybody has different bills. So you adjust your bills to enable you to do what you love. So you clearly have chosen well. You have chosen to do something that enables you to travel, which may not pay the bigger bills. But if you're happy with that, if you're fine with having much smaller bills, that's a good thing.
Thank you. Exactly. I agree with that.
Any other question? Oh, there's a whole bunch over there.
Can I go? Or anyone else?
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
Asha, yes.
Okay, I think as mothers, we've really talked about having fears to allow our kids to travel, right? And I probably do not know whether this would be relevant for those who do not have kids, but maybe you can also share your views on this. But more for Marina, when you were literally, when your daughters were growing up, have they kind of used guilt on you to not allow you to travel? Like, for example, I know that when I used to travel a lot for work, and I had to leave, I'm a single mom, so I used to, get a helper to take over my place when I'm away. And I know my daughter would, like, every time, she would cry, like she would have this buckets and buckets of tears before I leave to the airport. And then when I call her, she would be like crying still, and I miss you, and I love you, and all that. But thank goodness that she's come out of that right now. And when I went to Spain for 1 month, she actually planned the whole trip for me. And she said, don't worry about it, go have fun, you need this and all that stuff. But I still do see a lot of my friends, they are put in this situation where they allow the kids to sort of like, I wouldn't say manipulate, maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but allow the guilt to really eat upon them, and then they kind of halt all plans and say, oh, maybe I cannot do that trip because, my kids don't, I can't give my husband the full-time duty to look after the kids. Like, why? Isn't he the dad? Right? So it's, I think it's a very challenging one when you kind of allow kids to rule your life, right? So how do you deal, do you have some tips around that? Thanks.
Well, actually, I didn't really have to deal with that because, like Gabby, I had a good support system. So my daughter would, go to my parents and all that. So it wasn't when she was little, when the older one was little. So there wasn't all the tears and all that. It was still more me, feeling bad about leaving her and all that. But I think as long as they feel secure and you still love them, you're not leaving them for any other reason, and you stay in touch, you call, and most importantly, the presents that you bring back. Usually I found they're okay. And my older daughter, I also used to make sure that I had one trip with her, just me and her, when she was little. Every year we would go somewhere where she had me full time, and we would go and explore a place together. And I think that made up for all of the trips that I had to leave her behind for. And that's basically it. But I think when kids get really fussy like that, there's something else. I wonder if there's something else where they felt insecure, perhaps. I don't know. But I'm glad to see that she's grown out of it, That's always good. And she even plans your trips. I wish you could teach my kids to plan my trips for me. We're coming up to the last one, so we have one last question, perhaps. Over there. There's someone over there. I don't know, whoever gets the mic first. Sorry.
I get the mic. Hi, good evening, everybody.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it's me.
I'm over here too.
My name is Lina Chua. When I was invited by Mimi Chu to attend this 3 days of Zafigo talk, and I say it's all women. It must be boring with a capital B. I say, why? What happened? There's no man. I'm single. Where are the men? Even if there is one or two, they are taken. But at the end of the day, today is the last day of the talk. I think I feel very motivated. It's so inspiring. The talk is so amazing. And I think I would like to thank Zafigo ex Datin Paduka Marina Mahathir and her team to put on such a big platform for all of us to get here to do our sharing. And also not forgetting the speakers from local and also from abroad. I think we should give them a big hand of applause. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And also another thing that I realized that the word fear has been repeated over and over again over the 3 days thing. So basically, there are two fears that we notice. Fear as in when you're traveling, sexual predator. So I think we have to be prepared ourselves, like not only learn from other people how they handle when they are away. And also I think it's important that we have to, take some self-defense. Like yesterday I attended a self-defense class by Beverly. I don't know if she's here or not.
No, she's
Beverly?
left.
Oh, she has left already. So I think that's important how we can also, protect ourselves if anything has to happen. The other fear is fear of fun, of traveling. Fun as in F-U-N-D, not the fun. I think a lot of people fear as how they can fund themselves to travel abroad. So instead of, maybe we can start nearby. For example, instead of going to Eiffel Tower, we can go to Twin Towers. So near. Malaysia has got a lot of nice nature to offer. So maybe we can start small, start near before we proceed further. So basically, yeah, once again, I would like to thank Datin Paduka Marina Mahathir for giving us this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that brings everything nicely to a close. One more question? Oh,
Is it
sorry,
okay?
sorry.
Quick question.
Very quick.
Sarah, my name's Sarah. I live here in Malaysia. 5 kids, and I've traveled before kids with my husband to Pakistan, with 5 kids to China just recently. And I just think that each stage is such a unique part of the journey for women as travel. And so my question is, and maybe each of you are in separate journeys, and maybe one or just two can answer, but do you think it's possible, I do think it's possible, that in different stages, travel might look different, and there's a beauty in that. And we have to just embrace the different stages of us as women and that we're in, and not, there's a loss in certain stages, like 5 kids traveling. It's not quiet, but bringing them to China as a mom versus as a single college student when I lived there, it was a whole, generous experience. So I think, so my question is, have you seen that the different stages can actually bring joy as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think, we all, I can speak for myself, travel as a single person, travel as a single mother, travel as a married woman with husband and kids. They're all different. And they all have something special to it. I don't know whether any of you have...
I can talk about stage 1 and 2. Stage 1 destination, you get to go where you want, when you want, eat what you want. You don't have to wait for anyone. You can go and see the things that you want to see that my husband would not have been interested in. And then when I go again to a certain destination with my husband, we see things that I would not have gone to see. I just go there. We just went there because of him, because he wanted to see something. So I see other things as well. And there's more of a sharing experience there, where we had shared stories about a place or a person or a certain dish. And I value both. I value having my own thing to keep for myself. And I also value things that we shared, experiences that we shared. So definitely completely different, 1 and 2.
Stage 1, yes, you're young, you're a university student, you get to do whatever you want, go wherever, you don't have to answer to anyone. And, at that time, I would always travel with my family. I know a 20-year-old traveling with a family, some people are like, but it was fun. But you see things differently, and then when I started dating my now husband, he's adventurous, so we go to different places, whole new different places. We went to Laos, we went to Nepal, we did everything that was totally different from how I used to travel. And, yeah, we ticked off quite a few things on my bucket list just traveling with him. And now with the kid, I mean, he's only 6 months. I've only traveled with him to Bali. And it's nice to see like his first time touching sand or his first time going into the ocean. That pure joy, that innocent pure joy, you forget what it's like. But when you see it in your child's eyes, you're like, wow, okay, I remember, you have that feeling. So I guess, can I just say 5 children? But as you go on, I think in life with kids, yeah, traveling will be different. I think, but I still want to expose him to different things. I still want to, I can take him to New York, but I also want to take him to Nepal or to Vietnam or to even Sri Lanka, just so that he can see he can experience the different cultures, meet different people, eat different things. So it's, yeah, I guess it's that progression, I think, until you're older and then they start taking you on holidays, I hope.
I can only give you the single phase 1 experience. But, as a solo, being single gives you a lot of room to, to experiment. If you like hiking, you just go. If you like, jumping off a cliff, you just do it. But if you're in a phase 2, probably, your husband like, oh, you really want to jump off a cliff? No. So you have a blanket, a blanket around you who probably doesn't want you to take any action that might harm you. So, but that's love, that's love for you. So yeah, at a different stage, you experience to travel differently. Also, if you go with someone, like when I go with my parents to any place, the places I see with them is very different. And if I'm going with my sister or if I'm going with my friends, the places I see with them is very different. So I've been to Goa like 4 or 5 times, but every time I see a new place, like because the group of people that I'm going to is very different. Some wants to just go out on a party all night. Some want to sleep all night and do an early morning and early to sleep. So with different people and with different stages of life, I think you experience, and your priorities are different, I think. So you again prioritize and travel accordingly.
Another point though, comparing 1 and 2, I found it a lot easier to travel when I got married than before. Being single and traveling because my family is very traditional. Single women do not go out alone. You go out with your parents, or when you get married, you go out with your husband. So when I got married, like my husband is really cool. So I chose right. I'm not lucky, I chose right.
Yes.
And I could do whatever I wanted. And my mother was a lot less controlling over where I went, what I did, because she's married now. I don't have to worry about anything.
Exactly.
Her husband will take care of
That's
her.
true.
So I got to do and go places, to do things and go places, do a lot more than when I got married. So it's just traditional. I don't know if it's just an Indian thing or maybe it's a Chinese thing or a Malay thing as well, but
No, I think
we do not
It's a
go
mommy
out
thing.
on solo
about
holidays.
Mommy thing.
It could be a mommy thing as well.
It is a mommy thing,
Yeah,
but-
so that was the really big
But I
comparison.
think it is a cultural thing. I mean, I have friends who like to travel together, but they are of the opposite sex. They are platonic friends. I know that for sure they're platonic friends, and then they went on a trip to a very conservative country and realized that country was not ready for this type of traveler. And then that became a bit of issue. So sometimes we forget about these things. So I have a sign that's, desperately holding up to say stop. I'm so sorry I can't get all the questions, but you are free to come and talk to any of the panelists. So I'm going to close now. So just want to thank Gabby, Seema, and Himadri for a wonderful, wonderful session. I think that was the really the right thing to conclude all our sessions for Zafigo X. So thank you very much for making the
Thank
time and
you.
for working so hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.